Good day, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be discussing My Hero Academia Chapter 317 titled Scars, Blood, and Filth. I think in the unofficial it was Scars, Blood, and Mud. Either way, spoiler warning, of course, before we get into it. And now, let's dive straight into it. So, the cover page is basically Deku looking all, as they say, filthy. You see his little mask thing is mangled and all of that. And essentially, let's jump straight into the chapter now, and it picks up with, I guess, a few days after the explosion that happened in the last chapter. And we see the heroes are having a meeting, and I believe this is the first time we're seeing some of these heroes after the big war. So we see Hawks. He looks like he has a scar on his face. I think his hair looks a bit different here as well. We see Best Genius, we see Endeavor, we see Edgeshot, we see Mount Lady, and we see Kaomi Woods. Um, so nothing much has changed about most of the heroes after the big war. Uh, Mount Lady, however, has one new change, and that's a scar across her eyebrow here after fighting Gigantomachia. So again, not major changes that I could pick up on really. Um, Hawks look like he has a scar on his face as well. I think I mentioned that before. But essentially, this chapter is them having a meeting here, and the meeting is them basically talking about how to go forward here with this whole Midoriya all for one situation. And Kami would suggest maybe we branch out and tell more heroes about this so we could get more people on our side. Um, however, uh, Mont Lady, well, at least Mont Lady says that, the whole situation with Lady Nagant shows that, the league kind of only after Midoriya, so even getting the heroes involved might not help because we're still targeting Midoriya alone. And they mentioned that the normal police officers, of course, have their hands filled. So yeah, and we then get a little mention of Destugoro, I think is how you pronounce his name, that he was a hero before and a big hero. He led the charge with racking up the spies from the Liberation Front or the Paranormal Liberation Army during the big raid. And we see that he kind of at his limit as well and he quit. And this leads into the whole thing with them talking that, basically even heroes that were happy and willing to do the job and all of that, these heroes are quitting. So yeah, it shows the toll that this big war had on people and as well heroes because the people are ranting still and all of that, and this led to him retiring essentially. We then get Endeavor basically saying that the media also is getting close to Deku's secret. Um, so yeah, it kind of basically has this chapter. Initially, the first half is basically the heroes kind of figuring out what to do next, how to approach this. Um, and they also asked, like in their little group there, how come All for One hasn't kind of made this public so everyone would go after Deku? And they say that's probably not part of his plan at least yet. Um, so more things with that essentially, but we then see Shoto has been trying to call his dad and messaging him, and Endeavor didn't reply. And that is basically because I guess he's trying to keep him safe and away from this drama. So we still need to cut back to them and see what the UA students are doing and how they are progressing. We then see, I believe it is Hawks gets a message, and it's basically that Deku stopped another assassin who was after him, kind of like Lady Nagant. Um, this one seems to have pointy shark-like teeth. We don't get a name for him, but Deku stopped them. We see Deku looking all menacing in this panel with his black whip tying up the guy. And we see All Might wants him that maybe, he could explode to like Nagant. So Deku kind of basically just leaves because he won. Of course, Hawk says that they won. We see All Might calling out to him to wait, and he has food for him, and he's like, you haven't been eating. giving him food again like we see prior, and this leads to Midoriya basically saying, you know, you don't have to tag along anymore, you don't have to follow me. Um, you know, I'm able to do what you were doing at 100% without any recoil, so I'm good, you don't need to be following and kind of babysitting me. And I think this is mostly because Deku knows All for One is after him alone, and he doesn't want to risk All Might or anyone else being hurt on his behalf because um, he's the target. So he's trying to distance himself from everyone for that reason. Then we see Deku basically tells them again, don't worry about me. And this leads to an interesting scene. Because when Deku is about to leave, All Might falls, but before he falls, he says, I need to tell you that, kid, I, and then it kind of ends with All Might on the ground. So I'm hoping that this doesn't lead to All Might saying, kid, I'm your father, because that would be kind of, I don't know, I think that would be kind of lackluster, maybe, in my opinion. I mean, it would explain at least why Deku didn't have a quirk, but all in all, I think that would be lackluster. So I hope it doesn't turn out that All Might is his dad. I hope it's something else. But that being said, we then cut to a panel with someone behind a wall, right where All Might fell. And then the next panel, now we cut and we see that it's Stain. So Hero Killer Stain is back. um, and we get basically a panel that says, you know, they say he appears without a sound. He has a whole mess of quirks, kind of like One for All's ability, or All for One's, or All for One's ability, or even like a Nomu. And when you look at him, he doesn't look like a hero anymore. Um, and this is obviously because he's dirty, he's messy, his wounds are covered in blood, his suit is messed up. And then we get the final panel, which is Deku walking through the rain. And we see Black Whip kind of emanating from him. And it's a really menacing photo because we see like his shoes are destroyed, um, his gauntlets are destroyed, his mask is destroyed. Basically, his entire uniform is in shackles or shambles or rags or ragged, whichever is the correct adjective to describe that. So, yeah. And the chapter ends there with Deku looking menacing on one side and then Stain on the other side, basically. So, this is an interesting setup. I wonder if Stain got more quirks from All for One to come and battle Deku, because that could be an interesting fight. Um, but yeah, this chapter ends there. Essentially, no big major twists really. The only big twist I'm looking out for is that what All for, well not All for, what All Might was going to tell Deku, because he said, I have to tell you something, kid, and then he falls. So that has me thinking as to what it is. So if you guys have any idea what it might be, leave it down in the comment section below. But yeah, all in all, a good chapter. I'm excited because Steen is back. I want to see what Steen has in store for them. What is his role in this big overarching story? If he's helping All for One, or if he's just being Steen, the hero killer like he was before. Uh, so yeah, all in all, again, good chapter. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, if you're new here, consider hitting the like button, subscribing, dropping a comment. All those things help with pushing the video out on the YouTube world to more viewers. So please consider doing it. Uh, Also help me get to 200 subs. We're at 170. Um, so yeah, also look out for some other videos coming soon. More than like I'll try to do a cooking video sometime within the next 2 weeks or so, depending on how things go. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.